What is up, everybody? Doc T here with the Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free podcast, bringing you another Doc T time. This is episode 25, and we are going to talk about the wrong things that medical professionals are telling you. That's right. So, the Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free podcast is meant to bring no BS advice to give you implementable, usable, easy things to put in your life to get back to doing the things you love with the people you love without pain, dysfunction, or anything else that's stopping you. So I'm going to jump right into it today. This one might end up being a little bit longer than typical just because I'm very passionate about this subject. So a little bit about me, just so you realize I'm not just giving you BS advice as an influencer. My name is Dr. Tyler. I am a doctor of physical therapy, and I am also co-owner here at Inner Strength Health. So let's move forward here. Again, warning, this may offend some of you, and I'm sorry if it does. But really, this is just to bring awareness to the general population about what is broken in the medical field with us and how we could do better. Yes, that's right, we. I say that including myself because that is my journey, that is my vision, and this is what I am really trying to work towards. So let's get rocking and rolling here. So we're going to go through about, I'm going to say 8 to 10 things that I hear. And again, this is not my opinion. These are not things that I'm making up. These are things that I hear on a daily basis, either from members, from patients, from other medical providers. And so I just really want to address them with you guys and, kind of give you some tangible advice that you can utilize throughout your, again, to just find the best medical care for you. So starting off, a big one right off the bat here. So one of my biggest pet peeves is when a medical provider, typically a surgeon, again, sorry if you're a surgeon out there, is whenever they see, like let's say someone gets either a fusion or someone gets a total knee replacement on one knee, and the doctor will say, I'm glad you're doing well. We'll see you in the next 5 to 10 years for the other side. Or we'll see you in the next 5 to 10 years for, your neck again. This is the worst thing ever that you can tell a patient. One, because you have implemented it in their mind that they need you to survive now, that they need you to move. Now, I get it. I get that the doctor, they have a practice to run. They want to, make sure that they have patients, they have clientele. But at the same time, this is doing a disservice, and I've talked about this before, but this is what's called fear mongering. And what fear mongering is just where we put this little nugget of information into a patient's head to make them fearful, to make them hesitant, so that they realize that they think that they need us. They need us throughout the day to day. And that's not what we should be doing. Now, again, full disclaimer here. I understand as a medical provider what it's like as a doctor, as a nurse, as a chiropractor, as even, a counselor, that, for us in the medical field, you take a Hippocratic Oath. Now, Hippocratic Oath is to do no harm. And so they do this because they are trying to, quote unquote, help people, but also do no harm. And plus with insurances and with, you know, malpractice lawsuits and everything, you don't want to just be too conservative with people and then them get worse and then, there be a litigation on your hands. Doctors are just trying to save their own butt. But at the same time, this whole see you in 5 to 10 years is stupid. It's stupid because you don't know what's going to happen in 5 to 10 years. That person's other knee could be strong and ready to rock and roll. They rehab one knee, so now both are great. They find a gym, they find a trainer, they find a coach, they find someone who changes their life that they don't need to see you in 5 to 10 years. But again, because your ego got in the way that you had to say, well, we'll see you in 5 to 10 years. Then you automatically assume that you need them. And that's not true. You should really be trying to find a practitioner who gives you executable advice so that you never have to see them again. Because that's what we should be doing. Again, do no harm, but you should also be doing what is best for the patient. You should be educating them, you should be helping them, you should be providing them the resources that they can, again, become more independent. And, and again, when you say see you in 5 to 10 years, especially if you're a surgeon, then they automatically think, oh, I need a surgery. No, that's not necessarily the case. And so I just caution you if you're a medical provider, please watch saying this. We don't understand the extent that our words can go with patients. And, as a patient, please understand that when you hear this, don't just take it with a grain of salt. Because again, it's not true. I've seen plenty of people who have, went to a doctor and the doctor said that to them. And you know what? They never had to go back to him. It was 15, 20 years before they went back to him just for a checkup. So again, keep this in mind. Whew, we're almost 6 minutes in this one question or this one statement. This is going to get fun. All right. So statement number 2, you will never blank again. Okay. So this is where someone goes through, and it's typically a pretty traumatic experience in their life, or they have a traumatic life-changing event, and they'll go to a medical provider, they'll go to a doctor, and they will say, you will never walk again, you will never play sports again, you will never run again, you will never do whatever again. This is horrible. Such terrible advice to give somebody, or whatever you want to, not even advice, whatever you want to call that. By saying that to someone, again, you completely deflate them. And what I said in the last statement, we need to be careful with our words because they carry so much weight with some members, especially if you have a really good rapport with people and you start just cashing them out already, you just don't realize the extent that goes with them. So, yes, I understand we have to be realistic with people. We have to make people, again, set good attainable, these SMART goals, good attainable goals that are realistic to their life. But, rather than telling them you will never blank again, provide them the damn resources to get them as close to that goal as possible. And damn it, if they want to walk again, if they want to play sports again, who the hell are we to completely take that dream away from them? Again, be realistic with them. So there's I can't remember the name of the research now, but I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about false hope. And I touched on this I think last time, but false hope is where, you give someone a statement that provides them false hope. It's can't think of the word, but it's basically a statement that, you put an exclamation point on it and that's it. Like you'll get through this, or you'll survive, or you'll conquer this, or you won't conquer this, or you're going to die. Of course we're going to die. It's these statements that, again, but you don't provide people any type of reinforcement or resources to get through it. So rather than saying you'll get through this, say you are going to get through this because, you're strong-willed, you're very focused, you have a family you want to support, and then provide them the resources of why they will how to help them get through it. But if a doctor or someone tells you you will never blank again, please do not listen to that. Please do not let that deflate you. And if you do listen to that, but you have a positive attitude, it's like, I may not do this again, but I will find something else to do that brings me just as much joy. Great for you. So happy to hear that you are taking a positive, optimistic step forward. But if someone tells you, a medical provider, even if it's a physical therapist, they tell you you will never do this again, but they don't provide you any type of support, they don't refer you to anybody else, they don't sit down and establish a game plan with you, run the other way. And if they told you you'll never run again, run anyhow, because then you'll show them. Okay? All right, so on a roll here. We're going to move on to statement number 3. Squats and deadlifts are bad. Now, there's the next one going to kind of go hand in hand with this, but so, and typically they say it's bad for your back, but I've heard some say, like, especially after total knee replacements, you shouldn't squat. That's funny, because I've never got to a commode by doing a push-up. I have never lifted a laundry basket by doing a crunch. Like, these are functional things. These are things that we need to do. Like, you need to squat. You need to do a hinge. A deadlift is a hinge. You need to hinge. You need to do these things. Like, this is what, and again, what you don't use, you lose. And if someone tells you you should not squat, or you should not deadlift, or you should not pick up things and put them down, what the hell else are you gonna do? Sit on your couch? Do nothing? Have somebody else do it for you? That's stupid. There goes your independence. Just independence, waving goodbye out the door. And then you become dependent on other people, and you become a burden to them. And you don't want to be a burden to them. No one wants to be a burden to anybody. So how do you do this? Again, instead of saying, for medical practitioners, instead of saying squats and deadlifts are bad, how about you refer them to someone who knows what the hell they're talking about? Because I have plenty of literature, plenty of research that backs why squats and loaded hinge-based movements are not bad for you. So yeah, like, let's be honest. And again, I can show you plenty of examples of ladies in here who are over 70 years old, who their doctor told them that, or someone told them that. They're even their kids. And I get it. We care about our parents. We don't want to see our parents get older and, diminish. But I've had people in here who their kids told them that. And you know what? These badass ladies are picking up a 97-pound kettlebell off the ground with a smile on their face. And they feel empowered for it. So, by telling someone that blank blank is bad and they shouldn't do blank blank, you are disempowering them. And we should really, again, yes, do no harm, but we should really be trying to raise the level with everybody around us. So, in addition to that is quit going to the gym. This is the next statement. This one makes me laugh. This is especially funny when you have I shouldn't say that. When you have an overweight medical professional telling you shouldn't go to the gym. Because then you should ask them, have you ever seen what the inside of a gym looks like? Just saying. That is like a smoker telling you should do more, you should go for more runs. Or you should breathe better. Huh. Thank you. Thank you, hypocrite, for telling me that. In reality, I understand where medical providers are coming from when they say quit going to the gym. What they're saying is, and typically this is a scenario. Someone has some sort of little pain or discomfort that they're going through. And so they either go to someone, or they realize they need to change something in their life. They become smart. They do their research and realize, I need to get stronger. So they go to a gym to try to get stronger. Then they go back to their doctor, and their doctor says, well, is your pain getting better? And the patient says, a little slightly, but not really. Okay. But they don't ask, is your pain getting worse? Because then the patient would say, no, actually, I can do a lot more than I typically do. It's typically, is your pain better? No. Okay, well, what we can do is we can prescribe you something. We can give you a shot. We can do surgery. And it goes to like all these other things. And it's like, well, if they're not getting, now, granted, there are some people that they don't do well with pain, and pain is completely ruining their life. I get that. I get that we want to find other avenues for them. But exercise has so many benefits to it. Heart health, hormones, weight reduction, strength gains, muscle mass, well-being, the euphoric, experience. Like, there are so many good things with getting good activity that when we completely take them away from that, like, you are taking them away from an active lifestyle. How horrible is that? Why? Why are we doing that? So, now, if you have a 75-year-old patient who, their knees are killing them, and they're going to a CrossFit gym. I'm not picking on CrossFit here. I'm just using this because they're a higher intense type of exercise. And they're going to a CrossFit gym, and they come to you and they feel worse. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. Maybe they shouldn't be going there. But again, Instead, this is where, as a medical provider, you need to refer them or tell them to go somewhere that they have someone who's more skilled, more knowledgeable, who can guide them down the right path. That is what you should be doing. But instead, it's, well, let's just eliminate things, because that makes sense. That always makes sense. Let's just eliminate things. Oh, you're not losing weight. Let's just take away all your food. Eat 600 calories a day. Again, stupid. So, however, as a patient, you have to understand that if you truly enjoy going to the gym, if you truly enjoy a certain activity and it's not making things worse for you, or even if it is making it worse, just modify. Just find ways that you can still do it, just so it doesn't feel as bad. But if you really enjoy that activity, don't stop. Because if you do, I've seen this happen many times. People who are runners, people who are cyclists, even pickleball players, they enjoy that activity so much. And as soon as someone tells them to quit going and they have to stop, they go through a depression. And when you go through a depression, there's a cascade of downward spirals that just starts happening. And that's the last thing we want people to experience. So if someone tells you to quit doing X activity, unless it's making it worse, please go find someone else to address this, because there's so many bad things that can come from this. And again, it's always do no harm. Well, you are definitely doing harm if you tell them to quit doing the activity they love. Next one. This one. Do you want a script? And what this means is, I'll use a story for this one. So we have a member here. I won't use her name. Let's call her Pam. Okay. So Pam comes to me the one day, exuberated by this story, with her doctor. So she went to her doctor 6 months ago, her primary care physician, and her primary care physician, this was, this was more than 6 months ago. This was probably almost a year ago now, but during the pandemic. And she goes to the doctor, and her doctor's like, wow, is everything all right? You definitely just don't seem like yourself. And she's like, I'm just in a slump. I don't feel good. I don't think I look good. I'm stiff. I'm not moving well. My mind's just not there. I'm just not as happy as I typically am. And the doctor's reply is, well, can I send you someone? Would you like me to, how about I write you a script for something? Or, so I'll come back to Pam. Or I've had this happen before. Someone starts developing a little bit of knee pain or shoulder pain or something. They go to the doctor, and the doctor does his assessment, which is typically not great. And he's like, well, here, let's write you out a script for this. So we're going to go back to Pam, because I have another, I'm not going to use the PT side of this. I'm going to go a different avenue with this. So Pam says no. She walks out of the office frustrated. Pam winds up here. She's been with us now for 5 months, a little over 5 months. Pam goes back for a 6-month checkup with her doctor, same doctor, and she walks in, and the doctor's like, wow, there's just something so different about you. You just seem lively. You seem energetic. Like, your numbers are great. What have you been doing? Have you been taking someone, seeing someone, or, she said, Doc, I found this gym that I fell in love with, and that's all I needed. Even saying that now, I get goosebumps, and we get a slight emotional attachment with all of our members, because it's so great to hear stories like that. Now, I get the doctor said, you want to go to someone, which going to someone has such a negative connotation behind it. And I say that, and I don't mean that as it sounds, but, like if they said, oh, do I need to send you to someone? That's like, do I need to send you to an asylum? That's what comes to mind is, do I need to send you to an asylum? You sound crazy. You sound nuts. No. What we need to be better with is, and this is, so I talked with Robin. She is a counselor for the Better Institute here in Pittsburgh. And I told her this story, and she was she even said that she got emotional over that story because it was so great. Now, Robin's an amazing person. We had a really good conversation, and she is someone that, especially newer moms and throughout their motherhood, they go to her because she understands as a mom, she understands as a female, you know, the struggles that you go with. And the tools here is not to sit down and like start talking about your past and how your mother was this and your dad was that and your friends were this and life was that. It's about finding solutions to the current problems that you're facing that you have the tools to deal with. When I told Robin the story from the doctor's perspective, she just rolled her eyes because, again, as medical providers, instead of actually networking, so like for instance, if I have someone here that they're just, they're going through all these struggles mentally, as much as we try to provide for them, if I have to refer out, I'm going to refer out because someone like Robin is going to do a hell of a lot better job helping them than I am when it comes to their mental health. And, with mental health being such a big thing, rather than, okay, so we've been doing this from both sides here. From a medical provider side, instead of just saying like, oh, do you need to see someone? Say, first off, find a damn resource, and then say, I have this resource that she is amazing. She has helped so many people. This isn't therapy. And I say that in like the negative sense. Like, this isn't therapy. You're not going to go there and they're going to get you a bunch of drugs and make you feel crazy. This is a person that's a non-bias, and I like to refer it as a non-biased, non-emotional opinion that can help you get through things, because we all have a mental crap that we deal with all the time. And honestly, it makes us feel like we're alone. A lot of it, we feel like, we have no one to go to. We're the only person that feels this way. And by going to someone like a behavioral therapist, a counselor, um, you know, someone who actually has a background in that field. And I say a background, do not go to a mental health influencer that you found online. No, go to someone who actually has the background, actually has the credentials, the education. You go to them and they make you feel heard, they listen to you, and then they provide you guidance on what to do moving forward. Again, this whole do you want a script thing, I mean, eventually an injection, a script, or them just making you feel nuts, eventually that backfires, it goes nowhere, and then you're right back to where you were. So as a member, as a patient, realize that there are a multitude of other resources out there for you besides a script, besides feeling crazy. There are companies. So like two that come to mind are like in Pittsburgh, or like the Better Institute or Mental Fitness. Like, these are two places that I've worked closely with that do an amazing job, and they make you feel heard. And if you're someone that has something that you're dealing with mental health wise, they're definitely places to go to. So enough of that. Next. Okay, I'm going to put my PT hat back on for this one. Just do some stretches for this. Oh, love this one. Just do some stretches. This is my favorite. When someone goes to a medical provider having some sort of joint pain, muscle pain, and all they do is they say, just do some stretches. And then if you're lucky, I should say unlucky, if you're lucky but unlucky, they provide you a generic home exercise program that they give to everyone that has 5 stretches on that you need to do per day. This is hilarious to me. So, whenever you're, and I'm stealing this from a man named James Smith because I'm going through a little mini course of his right now. He talks about if you're in pain whenever you're moving, it comes down to 3 things. It's either you're unstable, it's you're unstable from mobility, your technique is shit, or you're weak. That's it. Mobility, technique, weakness. Again, this is James Smith, awesome guy. Diesel Fitness, if you want to look him up. And so, did you hear, now mobility, I did say mobility, but did you hear that you need to stretch in that? No. Now, mobility is an issue, and this is the one thing that we need to understand is that, our body likes to move in the path of least resistance. And so by that being the case, by moving in the path of least resistance, if we don't, it's a mobility issue. But that's the thing. We need new mobility-based things to correct that. The problem with stretching is you are still placing your joint in a situation where it does not want to be in that situation. It's going to go the path of least resistance. So just by laying on the ground and raising your leg up to stretch your hamstring, well, I mean, your body's going to do whatever it can to not stretch the right place. So, and not to mention, most of the time I find it's not, I mean, it is mobility, but it's not. A lot of it is your lack of mobility somewhere else, and you were just weak in that area. And again, so I use this. So a neighbor friend of mine, very awesome guy, we were talking the other day. He's a podiatrist. And he brought up to me about, he was having Achilles tendonitis, Achilles tendinopathy. He said, I know, I know, like, just do some stretches, make it feel better, and then I've just been trying to, like, work through it. To which I told him, actually, research does not suggest nor support stretching for a tendinopathy because it's kind of does the opposite of what you want it to do. And his reply, and this is why I love him, was, well, that's exactly why I just refer people to physical therapists, because they know what they're doing. I'm skilled at what I do. They're skilled at what they do. So I send them there for that, and they get the right advice. Thank you. Thank you, sir. If only the rest of the world could be that way. A lot of times, again, we'll come back to this. A lot of times what I find is it's either a poor technique. So like if it's a knee pain or a hip pain, squatting, going upstairs, like they're doing something technique-wise is probably, biomechanical. But also their quads and their hip are not strong enough either to deal with it's a capacity issue there. And then, it could be mobility in some sense. But if your knee is hurting, it's typically not the fact that your quad or your hamstring is not mobile enough. It's typically that your ankle or your hip is not mobile enough. But they're not going to tell you that. No, they're going to give you a quad stretch because stretches help. So if you're a medical provider and you say stretches all the time, you probably don't know what you're talking about. And that's cool. You don't need to. The thing is about a lot of medical providers is we specialize in things. We don't know. It's hard. You can't know everything. If someone comes to me with a neurological issue, I'm not going to act like I know everything because I don't deal with that on a consistent day-to-day basis. I'm going to refer them somewhere else. As a medical provider, you need to be humble and do the same thing. Just refer them out. As a patient, if you go to someone and they say, just do stretches, please realize that's probably not the answer and go find someone else, or at least ask to go to a physical therapist, even a chiropractor who's knowledgeable, and just do your research with that. All right. Last but not least, not doing too bad on time here. This one was actually given me to Claire by one of our coaches, and couldn't agree with her more on this one. This is the doc. You need to lose weight. No shit. Like that's you need to lose weight. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this to be an ass. I'm saying this because, a lot of people I'm not saying this is but I can't remember what the stats are, but I mean, it's over 50% of the world is overweight or obese. Okay. So, there's a good chance that here's the funny thing. If I went to a doctor right now because of my body weight, I'm 220 right now. Okay. If I went to a doctor right now, they would tell me I need to lose weight. Interesting. Cool. The best part about this is it's typically someone who is not in shape, someone who doesn't work out regularly, and someone who is overweight telling you need to lose weight. Okay. Now, to make matters worse, if you're someone who needs to lose weight, you probably already know you need to lose weight. So them telling you that does absolutely nothing. Here's what pisses us off is they tell you this without actually giving you guidance. They don't actually help you with, they're like, you need to eat better. Again, No shit, Sherlock. We all probably need to eat better. Food tastes good. Alcohol tastes good. It makes me feel good. This is why I like it. You telling me I need to eat better does absolutely nothing for anybody. What you need to do is refer them to someone. So, for instance, we work with Case Specific Nutrition, a group of certified, registered, credentialed dietitians. You need to send them there because they will help give them the proper guidance and tools they need nutritionally. Guidance. You need to send that. You need to provide, send them somewhere like a qualified gym, PT, chiro, strength conditioning coach who can provide them the proper guidance or at least give them some instance of what they should do to better burn calories, to have better activity, to exercise the right way. I mean, holy hell, telling them they need to lose weight, thanks. Cool. All right. And the worst is, again, some go back to, do you want a script? They read them a script for something to lose weight. Well, holy hell, Batman, that's not going to do anything for them. I mean, sure, they might lose weight, but you're not giving them the tools. You're just, giving them a hammer and saying, just go hit shit. So, again, giving the proper guidance, and that's the thing, and there's so many other things. And if it's someone who, again, so here's a good, for instance, if you have someone who comes into your office, and I'm speaking this obviously on the medical provider site, if you have someone who comes into your office, they're overweight, you can tell they are depressed or they're at least going through some stuff mentally, and they have no idea how to eat right. If you send them to a good certified strength conditioning coach, physical therapist, whatever, gym who can help them physically, you send them the Case Specific who can help them nutritionally, and you send them to Better Institute Mental Fitness that can help them mentally, you just saved that person's life. But no, you don't. You just tell them they need to lose weight. Now, I'm honestly not going to speak on the patient side for this because it's frustrating. I get it. It's a horrible situation to be in. You have no idea. You're confused. There's so much information out there. You don't know what to believe. There's all these diets, all these exercise plans, all this crap of what you should be doing, all these self-help books that provide you nothing. I get it. It's tough. And if that's the case, just realize there are people out there willing to help you. And again, if you listen to this and you need some sort of support, just message me and I will gladly help you find that support. Even if it's not with us, just go somewhere that's going to save you the right way. And then along with that is the hypocrite and everything that whenever, again, if you're not going to someone who is living the life, who is living the style, who is a good, us as coaches, trainers, medical providers, insert here, we should be setting an example for people. And if we're not setting that example, then don't listen to us. So that's my advice for you there. If you're going to a medical provider who tells you all this crap and they're not listening to their own advice, go find somebody else. They might be nice, they might mean well, but they're not really helping you. Kind of comes down to that. It's nothing personal. It's just business and your body and your health and your life and your family. All right. I managed to do that without taking one drink of water. I'm being a poor example there, but forgot to bring my water with me to the desk. So, as you know, we always like to end these podcasts with 3 takeaways. So my 3 big takeaways for you today are: don't be afraid. Number 1, don't be afraid to gain multiple opinions. And I mean this from doctors. I mean this from, doctors, from physical therapists, from chiropractors, from dietitians. Don't be afraid to see multiple people. I know it's convenient to go to one place and get all your answers there, but that's not always how it's going to be. It can't always be that way. You have to do your research to figure out the right place and at least find someone who is going to help you find that. Even ask your doctor, just say, I would really like to find this place. Can you help me? And if they don't want to help you, then that Hippocratic oath just went whoop right out the window. Okay? Numero dos. Medical providers are limited. Okay, this is another takeaway. Understand that we, and I'm including myself in this, We are limited in our abilities, our skills, our knowledge, whatever. Okay. And time. Time's a huge one too. Again, I understand from the medical provider side that time is a tough thing, especially if you're seeing 25 plus patients a day. It makes it tough to provide one-on-one customized information. But so you have to, so for on the patient side, you need to understand that it's medical providers are limited, but if they are not willing to admit they're limited and send you somewhere that will provide you the proper resources, tools, guidance that you need for that specific area, then you need to find a new medical provider. Again, nothing personal, just good business. Okay. And I'm just going to say this. So, again, I'm not trying to attack doctors out there, but realize they're limited as well. So there is an orthopedic surgeon that I went to one time. I tore my hip flexor, and he told, and so we're going through the rehab portion, and this actually just hit me the other day. He said this. Now, granted, mind you, this is 16 years ago, and I remember being in his office, and he's like, "The next time I see you, I want you to be able to bend forward so that you can touch your hands on the floor." Really? So apparently, hamstring mobility is going to help my hip flexor, the exact opposite of the hamstring, heal and get stronger and get more mobile. You know what's funny? I went to a chiropractor friend of mine a few months ago. I was having some issues. I didn't even realize it was the same hip. And he's like, that's funny. Your hip flexor is really weak on this side. Maybe if I would have been referred to the right person, it wouldn't be this way right now. But here we are. So again, realize that even the best surgeons you think are also limited. Last but not least, please, please, please do your research. Now, this one is an interesting takeaway because Google is a massive hellion. There are a lot of people out there, whether it's social media or it's Google or whatever, that will tell you that they know what they're doing, that they will give you the right tools, the right guidance, all this stuff. This is where you need to do a consult with them, ask them the right questions, research the right questions to ask them. And if they don't answer those questions, run, leave, go. Because this is where we kind of run in. And, even if you're going to, like, say, I'm going to choose a chiro or a physical therapist, right? And you want to get stronger and you can't be there forever, ask for their help or ask them for the right questions to ask their strength coach, personal trainer, whatever. Or like if you're going to a doctor, ask them what are the right questions that I can ask. Because if the doctor doesn't give you the right questions, then it's kind of starting to give you a little bit of an idea about them. But that's the thing. Do your research and make sure you are asking the right questions to the right people to figure out if they can give you what it is you're looking for. Because most people just get on Google, say, I need to find a PT. They go to a PT and they have no idea what they do, no idea what they treat, no idea. And this is where we as medical professionals need to accept the fact that people are going to come to the door and they're going to be skeptical and ask us questions. And you know what? If you don't like that, you're probably not very good because you're afraid to actually demonstrate your skill set. You're afraid that someone's going to know more than you, and that's scary. Okay. So that's it for today, everybody. Again, if I offended you, sorry, but not sorry. This is really just a humility pill that we all need to take and realize that we don't have all the answers. Instead, this is really me trying to, on the rooftop, shout to the world that we need to be better at networking and at referring and as working as a community in the medical field rather than, just hubris is not our best features. We need to actually work as a community and help one another to do what's best for our patient, not sit there and just let our egos take the wheel and then we do a disservice because we're afraid to quote unquote, do no harm. Healthy Fit and Pain Free Podcast is brought to you by Inner Strength Health. We are located at 203 Hershinger Road here in Coraopolis. We also have a second location that we are currently in the process of building up. It is at 108 Commerce Boulevard in Lawrence, Pennsylvania, in the South Hills. That is South Pittsburgh. If you want any information, please visit www.innerstrengthpgh.com. We also are in the Coraopolis location is also the western location of Case Pacific Nutrition. Again, they are a representative of credentialed, skilled, knowledgeable dietitians who actually have a background, actually have a bachelor's plus degree in dietetics. And yeah, we also have myself in house. I'm again a doctor of physical therapy. You can check me out at Dr. Dr. Tyler _Bordick on Instagram and Facebook. And again, thank you all and have an amazing day. Love you.